News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Joe Biden having another malfunction in his communication skills. And malfunction meaning he's got either Alzheimer's or dementia or Parkinson's, or a little bit of a couple of both. And it's obvious, and everybody knows it. And the media and the Democrats can try to cover it up and say it is cheap fakes or whatever they want to make up, whatever day or week it is. Did you know that CBS News all of a sudden today had a label on one of the videos showing Biden lost and confused and wandering and needing to be pulled back over? I think it was the one with the Italian, what is she, the prime minister, or I can't remember, the Italian lady there in charge of the government there. She goes over and gets him. She's conservative, by the way. She goes over and gets him and leads him back. And CBS News had a label over it warning that it was like edited or something. And then all of a sudden they realized, oh, wait, that's the wrong video. That's not edited. It's as is. And then they had to yank that. I mean, this is a freaking disgrace. CBS, the same one that lied about the laptop for Leslie Stahl. She lied about it. All sorts of stuff. But here's the latest yesterday, and you can tell me if this is alarming to you.
Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
One more time.
Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
How do you describe that? What is that other than the man's got issues? He's getting elderly and frail, and he just can't talk a lot. That's just how it is. I mean, I mean, that's crazy. It's embarrassing. And then we had this the day before.
And guess what? It's growing. The economy's growing. People doing better. We have the highest unemployment, the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We have more people. We've had over 15 million people brand new hired into the workforce. You know, my son says we all have we all have various short-term descriptions for your jobs, for what you accomplish. And you should say Joe Jobs.
All right, what was that? So that was Monday, and then the one you just heard was from yesterday when he was announcing he was going to illegally give 500,000 illegals who are married to U.S. citizens a temporary protection or eventual citizenship or something. It's going to be struck down. That's not going to go. It's not going to pass muster. Even people on the left say that. But the point is, the man 2 days in a row literally is not able to communicate without going. And then we've got 3 different times he's been shepherded off the stage. Italy, as here's the key on this. He's the only one in the whole thing in Italy with the Italian prime minister. He's the only one that's over there. Nobody else is doing what he's doing. The same thing at the LA fundraiser for Barack Obama. He's the only one that is sitting there not moving. And the same thing at the Juneteenth celebration. He's the only one that is not moving. So the idea that this is normal and it's a fake or something is completely absurd to everybody that is honest, because he's the only one that consistently doesn't know what's going on. And it doesn't matter which video you look at, he's the only one. And that tells you everything you need to know. So questions on this are, do you think he's going to last another 4 years? Or do you think he's going to end up going down? Resigning or getting removed or something? Do you actually think Joe Biden's going to last another 4 years, or is he going to go down? And if he does go down, who do you think they're going to pick instead? Who do you think would be the toughest opponent for Trump to face? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Line's wide open for you. Do you think Joe's going to last another 4 years or go down before that? And if he does go down, who do you think they're going to end up picking in his place? Who do you think would be the toughest opponent? I do believe that it's going to be Gavin Newsom, and I believe he's been pumped, and that's why he's been in the White House on and off for 3 years. And there's no way it's going to be Kamala, and they know it. Cackling Kamala or Kamala. That's what's going to happen. I don't think she's going to do it. They're going to, oh, look, we got something else. They're going to shepherd her off the stage. Oh, come here. Oh, you're going to be vice president. Or we're going to give you this amazing cushy thing where you make millions of dollars a year and get your rump kissed. Something of that nature. But I think Gavin would be the one. I do not think, actually, let me tell you this. He's not going to step down. He never will. He loves the plaudits and the laudits, as I like to say. He loves all the trappings of it. He does not do much. I was listening on Fox the other day, and they're saying that his schedule typically is 12 to 4, noon to 4. That's kind of his busy day, is 4 hours. And he's a part-time president, and everybody pretty much knows that. And who's running the country is not going to change. So that's why I don't think they're going to replace him, as long as he can present himself like he does now, and they can hide him a lot. Once he gets reelected, if he gets reelected, they'll be able to hide him enough. They're controlling everything. It's a third term of Obama. It'd be a fourth term of Obama, and all those folks in there were Obama people in the administration and such, and they're running the country. And this radical, insane stuff that's going on is he's being told what to do, and he's doing it. And so, but he's the man. And it's so unbelievable to see our media literally polish this turd and pretend everything's fine. It's amazing, isn't it? I'll play you some of their audio saying that this is ridiculous, everything's fine, it's faked, it's cheap, it's edited together. So I do think he'll last 4 years. I think he'll be a zombie by the time his last couple of years are here. He'll be cloistered away, but they'll just keep him there. He's a figurehead, that's all. And then they'll usher in the new Democrat. Let's go to Keith in Fort Worth. Keith, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello.
Hey, Chris. I think Biden's going to last probably 2 more years.
Okay.
And then they'll replace him with Michael Obama.
With Michael Hussein Obama?
Yeah.
Is that Mrs. Hussein Obama you're speaking of?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Apparently.
Hey Barack, I gotta go. Hey Barack, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Apparently, she's some hero to people.
Is she some what?
Hero, apparently.
Yes. In fact, I'll tell you what major Trump supporter that he likes and uses as an advisor still thinks it's going to be Mrs. Hussein Obama that's going to be running instead.
Yeah. I don't know why people like her. I don't see the point.
Man, I don't either, but it is what it is.
The only reason she got to the White House is because she, was with a man, and she's all about women's rights, but the only way she got there is because she married a man.
Why do you really think she's going to leave a whatever it is, $50 million house in Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard, wherever it is, and then or her $50 million mansion in Hawaii, and these cushy jobs, making tens of millions of dollars, working with Netflix and others, and occasionally doing a little interview and be like, oh my gosh, they fall on their faces and worship her. Why would she want to do this kind of a grind? I don't think so.
Because she hates America. And that's
I do believe that. I do believe that. I do believe you're absolutely correct. I mean,
she wants power.
We've been an irredeemably racist country, according to her, like always from day one. It's sad. She's wildly successful. She's wildly successful, and the man's still going after her. Just ridiculous.
And she's also called America's mean. We're a mean country, and she hates us so much. She wants power to make us like, I don't know, Kenya or Nigeria or a third world country because she hates us so much.
Well, I know she dislikes this country a lot and claims to be a victim in it, even though she's one of the most successful people in this country, etc. So thanks for your call, Keith. I appreciate it. So he thinks 2 years and Joey's out. All right. Do you think Biden's going to last another 4 years, or do you think he's going to go down somehow? And if he does go down, who do you think they're going to pick in his place? And who do you think would be the toughest opponent to face for Trump if it's not Joe Biden? We got 8 days until the next debate. 8 days until the first debate, I should say. And I want to talk about that too with the debate. There's concern that maybe they give him medications to keep, to get him, focused and get him some energy. I believe that. I'll share with you what I believe it is. What I've heard might be what they do, but also what major Trump person says it'll be Mrs. Hussein Obama that will replace Joe on the ticket. I strongly disagree, but nonetheless, that is next. Chris Kroc Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and you get to hear the media talk about how everything's fake and he's fine and there's no issues. There's nothing here to see. 800-288-W. Isn't it shocking? I mean, the emperor truly has no clothes. It's shocking. And these people are literally like, it's unbelievable. It's like they're pointing at the sky and it's blue and they're saying, no, the sky's purple. What's wrong with you? That's a fake. That's cheap. What are you saying? That's the sky's purple. Oh my gosh, what's wrong? It's totally purple. It's obvious. It's just, gosh, it's crazy. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office.
The Republican accounts circulating many of the clips responded, claiming the videos are unedited and promised to keep posting them.
A lie.
I want to talk about the Joe Biden that Republicans want you to see and the pipeline of videos that aren't telling the full truth.
We've been worried for years about AI deepfakes. Cheap fakes are a little bit simpler. They're cheap. They're just distorted, out of context videos.
These are cheap fakes, what the White House and Biden people call them. I think we need to all be a little careful about what it is that we put out there.
Okay, well, what do you think? Do you think Joe Biden's going to last another 4 years, or do you think he's going to go down beforehand? And if he does go down, who do you think they're going to pick instead of him? And who do you think would be the toughest opponent? 8 days from now is the first presidential debate of the season, with the presidential election for November. I think that they give him amphetamines. In particular, I think they give him ADHD type drugs, and that'll give you focus. Unless your body reacts negatively to it, but I'm sure they've already been doing this kind of a thing. If you give them ADHD drugs, the common ADHD drugs, that gives you hyper focus. I know for a fact. I've never taken them. It doesn't work with me. Coffee's my friend. That's an ADHD dude. But my son takes stuff and for ADHD, and it gives you energy, hyper focus, etc. So I believe they might be doing something like that. And I thought of this weird thing when I was getting in my car the other day. I told you about on the show the other day. By the way, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Do you think Joe's going to last another 4 years or go down? As he mumbled and jumbled again on Tuesday and on Monday. Yesterday's was horrible. He forgot his HHS Secretary, Mayorkas, forgot his name and went, let's play that again. It's real quick. Let's play that one again.
And guess what? It's growing.
Okay, now this one. Here we go. Boom.
Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
All right, is that possibly excusable? Is that a deep fake to you? Is that fake? Can you possibly wave that away as, oh, no, it's just, no, it's just deep fake or cheap fake or whatever. And then this one.
And guess what? It's growing. The economy's growing. People are doing better. We have the highest unemployment, the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We have more people. We've had over 15 million people brand new hired into the workforce. You know, my son says you ought to have we all have various short-term descriptions for your jobs, for what you accomplish. And you should say Joe Jobs.
What? Okay. But there's more. It's not just Italy with the prime minister yanking him off. It's not just the Los Angeles fundraiser with Obama taking him by the hand. It's not just Juneteenth where he's frozen and he's the only one in all three of these scenarios that's got an issue. But then look at this from January, from MSN. Jill Biden rushes on stage to save lost and confused Joe as he wanders aimlessly. That literally is from January. Jill quickly, here we go. First Lady Jill Biden rushed on stage during a speech from her husband as the president looked lost and confused while on stage in Valley Forge in Pennsylvania. Second of all, this is from last month, May 7th. A very confused, this is from Sky News in Australia. So even the foreign press, and I told you what the Italian press and what was the other one? It was the French press or whatever, which is great for coffee, but it's also the press people that are in France, okay? France! Where they serve you freedom fries. Anyway, they were ripping the crap out of him, like being lost and needing to be helped by the Italian PM, and it was brutal and truthful coverage. Here is the Sky News Australia Bureau. Very confused Joe Biden appears lost before escorted off the stage by Jill Biden. Again, so once in January, once in May. I mean, nobody's making this up. He appeared lost and confused before his wife, First Lady Jill Biden, escorted him inside at the Cinco de Mayo at the White House Rose Garden on Monday. So, I mean, this is not an one-off or off thing. This is all the way over the top. So, by the way, Roger Stone, one of the top guys that Trump still loves, as far as I know, and listens to, he says Democrats are going to replace Joe Biden with Mrs. Hussein Obama, Michelle, on the ballot in 2024. I don't think so at all. I think it's never going to happen. They're not going to do that. And people are still saying that maybe at the Democrat convention they would do something. They're not going to do anything. He ain't going to let it. There was an Axios piece today that said that it had Biden insiders that are in on these meetings, so somebody towards the very top of the campaign saying that he won't take any advice. People are already starting to put together excuses for why it didn't work out, the campaign. And if you're on the inner circle and you try to bring up new ideas or something that is not part of the plan already, you try to bring in new things, you're kind of kicked out, really, and they shun you and they kick you out. So they don't welcome new ideas. They think everything's great. They're sticking to it. I will say this. Biden did gain a few points. You probably heard in some of these polls, but the key one is what about the 7 swing states? Because that's all that matters. And I think Harold Ford Jr. said it best on The 5 Today on Fox when he said 300,000 people are going to make it or break it for one of these two. I think that might still be accurate. And we will see how this plays out. So it's not over, and we have no idea who's going to win. And if anybody tells you they do, they don't know what they're talking about. All right, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show. This has been huge in the news for 24, 48 hours. A surgeon outed a Houston hospital in, of course, Texas for treating trans kids after they said they were no longer doing it. Now he faces federal charges. There's some really angering video of the FBI showing up at a nurse's house who apparently worked there. I'll play that for you. It's really, we're next. I mean, but my take on this case is going to surprise you most likely. We'll talk about that next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Okay, you've heard about this probably because it's been all over the news for 24, 48 hours or even more. It was first exposed in the City Journal by journalist Chris Rufo, and I'm a big supporter of what he does. And he gets a lot of good stuff, and he gets it out there. And I think it's fantastic. However, there's a new story that he has been covering exclusively at first. A surgeon who is in DFW area, by the way. He was doing his residency was part of his residency, even though he's a Dallas surgeon. He worked at Texas Children's Hospital, the largest provider apparently of pediatric care in the country in Houston. And at that time, the hospital was alleging publicly that they had ended all transgender or puberty blockers, hormone stuff, anything for teenagers, minors, I should say, for children. It was this was after Texas pushed a new enforcement action where they said that it is child abuse. It's under the category of child abuse because the minor can't consent, and they shouldn't be dictating what happens to their body when it's irreversible. There's a lot of bad stuff that's come out about this treatment in minors, and some of our closest allies, first world countries, are also turning away from this now, which is good. However, in an effort to expose that Children's Hospital in Houston was continuing to violate the Texas code, if you will, he decided to get access to health records of people who evidently were not his patients, is what the reports say. They were not his patients. He logged in with his ID and stuff and then got this information. He redacted the critical things in there about names and such, and he gave it to Chris Rufo to be exposed and reported on. Well, the images of the health information that he got, fully redacted as far as names, stuff like that. It just said age and what the treatment was. And because of that, the Biden administration, the FBI, the Department of Justice is prosecuting him to the fullest extent as of right now. They brought it to a grand jury, and the grand jury handed down indictments. And he faces now up to 10 years behind bars and a $250,000 fine if convicted. He was just released on a $10,000 bond. Now, I want you to hear a nurse who apparently was at this hospital, and the FBI goes to her house on her doorbell camera, whatever it is, and I want you to listen to this. This makes me enraged, and this makes me excessively concerned, because this is a nurse, and I don't know if she did anything quote unquote wrong, but this is us. We're next. Here we go. Let me play this for you.
Hello. Hi. I'm looking for Vanessa Sivage. Okay. Yeah. Who are you? Cassie. I'll next time the FBI agent. Okay. This is Mr. McBride. Hey, I'm David McBride. Okay. Nice to meet you, sir. It's a pleasant interaction. You're not in trouble nor shame. Okay. All right. Hi. How are you? She snuck up on you there. You want to see too? Are we interrupting dinner? I'm really sorry.
That's all right. What's going on?
Let me start at the beginning. So I'm sure you're aware of some of the things that have been going on at your work lately.
With regards to?
Yeah. So I gotta. Can we sit down for a minute? Let me do my song and dance.
Doesn't that terrify you? They're acting like you're your neighbor and you're your best friend or something like that. They're in plain clothes and they're flashing badges. When we know what this administration does to people who it wants to make examples of. And so this Dallas surgeon, Ethan Haim, is unapologetic. He doesn't regret anything. And he is defending himself. There's a fundraiser that's been going on online for $765,000 so far. And I support anyone that wants to donate to that. I have no problem with it. But I got to be truthful with you. I think that if it was me, I don't think you release stuff that is, because this is supposedly a HIPAA violation. I'm not here to say it is or isn't. I wouldn't have done what he did. I support the man fighting. I hope he doesn't get convicted of anything. I think it's egregious, but I would not have done it. You know what I would have done? Since Attorney General Ken Paxton and Governor Abbott came out and said this is child abuse, it's classified as child abuse, I would have gone to the Attorney General's office and I would have said, here's what I got, here's what I saw, this is going on at the hospital in Houston right now, and they're violating your order and they're doing what you call child abuse. And give the information you have and let the Attorney General of the state of Texas handle it. That's what I would, and the governor's office, because they have power. They can subpoena, it can go to the legislature, it can get in the news, but you cannot be releasing those things. So I really hate to whiz in your Cheerios, but that's how I feel. And let me ask you a question about this. If this was you, what would you expect to happen if you released protected information like this, like the surgeon did? What would you expect to happen if you released protected information like this surgeon did? And what do you think he should have done? The surgeon, Haim, who did this, Ethan Haim. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Lines wide open. Chime in right now. What would you expect to happen if you released that protected information like this surgeon did, and what do you think he should have done? I support him. I hope he totally beats these charges. I hope the Department of Justice throws it out. I don't think they will. They're insanely over the top when they treat people like us on our side this way, and I think it's wrong. I'm glad he spoke out, but I think he did it in the wrong way. You cannot release sensitive information. He logged in under false pretenses, the reports are saying here in the news, that, they weren't his patients. So he literally had no business logging in and doing that. So that's like, dude, nah, you can't do that and then give it to the public. You gotta talk to the Attorney General's office. Let them do this, not you. And I think that's where he went wrong. I think he was trying to do right, but I think he went too far. Okay? And here's what we got from the report from the Daily Mail. In 2023, he allegedly asked to reactivate his login there to access information on child patients not under his care, including names, attending physicians, and treatment codes. He then allegedly turned the information over to a media contact. He publicly has admitted he gave it to Chris Rufo, the City Journal journalist, who published a redacted version of his screen grabs with patients' names and other details omitted. The story alleged that children were secretly getting puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones from the hospital, which had in 2022 announced they were halting gender-affirming care for youth. So they were lying. And a month earlier, Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton announced a sex change procedures on children and prescribing puberty blockers to them is child abuse under the Texas Family Code. They could have literally investigated this and subpoenaed it. Then you would be looking at them going to jail, whoever's responsible, and then being criminally investigated, and them getting a lawyer, and them going in front of a grand jury. So I think when there's a legitimate complaint, when there's a legitimate issue, which I support this man, you got to do it the right way. And that's the other thing. USA Today, one of their columnists, by the way, and I don't usually read them much, but even their columnist was actually pretty friendly on this. And she said, and he's been indicted on 4 felony counts of violating Federal Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act. HIPAA. I always joke around about HIPAA violations. I'm at the doctor's office or whatever. I went and got my ears checked at one of my sponsors, of course. Connect Hearing, 35 DFW locations. And they're like, can you sign this? And, for my account executive who handles this stuff, the suits, as we call them, handling the stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't care if she knows about it. HIPAA violation. Hey, no. But you got to do what's right. And in that case, it was right to report it to the authorities, but not for you to report it publicly like that. So that's where I'm at on that. And I hope he wins, and I hope he gets a lot of money from the fundraiser to defeat this case that they're really targeting him on. But that nurse having that greeting at the door from an FBI agent with that BS, oh, hey, I'm your friend. Hey, can we come in? No, you can't come in. No. Leave me the information. Tell me what you got, and then leave. I mean, you cannot trust this. I don't trust this Biden Justice Department in any way, shape, or form. And they will not go after people they should go after. Instead, they will go after people they can hold up and go after and say, this is all bad. Orange man bad. Here's one of Orange man's supporters, etc. You going to jail. You're horrible. Okay, coming up next on the Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP. I've been wanting to do this for 24 hours, and we finally have time tonight. I had one martini. JT, Justin Timberlake, I had one martini. Really? Oh, we have so much on this. So much. And how is he handling it? And how is his lawyer handling it for him publicly? Not the right way. We're going to talk about that. What advice would you give Justin Timberlake on how to handle this? Because I think he's literally going the exact opposite direction, and it's going to hurt him more. That's coming up next on the Chris Kroc Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Okay, Justin Timberlake's lawyer, and Justin Timberlake, as of right now, after getting a DWI, did you see the mugshot? Bloodshot, red eyes? He looks horrible, doesn't he? He's seen in handcuffs the morning after his DWI arrest, blowing a stop sign, refusing a breath test at Sag Harbor. One witness told the New York Post. First of all, he's 43, let out of across the bridge at Sag Harbor Police Headquarters to the village's Justice Court yesterday. He appeared shell-shocked, looked straight ahead, let out by police officers. He was banned from driving for a year in the state of New York after a brief arraignment, was released without bail. He emerged from court wearing a baseball cap. He was drinking at a bar with friends, Sag Harbor, at a hotel, and got behind the wheel of his BMW X7 at 12:30 in the morning. Obviously, the guy can afford to get a Porsche, a man and a woman in thongs, models in thongs showing up in a Porsche 911 Carrera or a Porsche, Macan, or however you pronounce that one, or some kind of an SUV, $200,000 SUV, Lamborghini SUV to come pick him up if he wants, right? And and drive. He can get anything. He can get a chopper to come get him. And what does he do? He drives drunk. I mean, you got to think about who you are and the kind of publicity it's going to attract regardless. It's just stupidity. Man, I wish somebody would turn their phone off when they come into the studio. It certainly wasn't mine. I haven't done that in years. Actually, it wasn't me. It was producer Garrett, too. You left your phone in here, dude. You left it on. Shame on you. Anyway, one unknown person, a witness, told the New York Post that he was wasted before the bust and was even seen drinking somebody else's drink from another table. Oh, my gosh. When the man came back, Timberlake was drinking his drink. He was wasted. At one point before closing, somebody got up to go to the bathroom, left his drink at the table. The guy goes, "Justin, that's my drink." Okay. Now, today, he's sticking to the story that he had just one drink. Today, his attorney says there's a lot more to the story. What do you mean there's a lot more to the story? This is like with Hunter and the laptop, right? In the trial that he just went through. Well, did he sign the gun form? It's like there's nothing to this case. Same thing with this. So I think what he should do in this, and what he should have done, is immediately own up to it. Say, it was me, it was wrong, I messed up, I own this, and I'll do whatever it takes to make amends with the state of New York and this community. And I apologize. That's what I want to see, don't you? Whenever I see somebody even locally who is a local politician, that's all I want from them, is to own it. There was some council member, some Yahoo, I don't remember if it was Dallas or where it was, in my 14 plus years of being here, which I love being here. I love my job. Thank you very much. And he some council member did it, and he owned it, and he apologized. I think DWI is a big deal. I think it's wrong. But I think that you own it, you fess up to it, and you deal with it. And that's it. And then when you do that, we can forgive you. And I think there's, if you do it after that, you're a criminal, a big-time criminal. Both of them are. But there's a story I want to share with you locally in Dallas about a drunken driving case. Because here's what I want to talk about. This is a crime. This is a crime what Justin Timberlake did. Here's my questions for you. What advice would you give to Justin Timberlake on how to handle this DWI allegation? And what do you think about some who are saying this was a mistake? Wait till you hear what I have next for you. You have, what's her name? I can't stand this woman. Gayle King. Oh, it's a mistake. Listen to this.
That's probably the first time we'll hear him in public say anything.
But Justin Timberlake is a really, really great guy. Listen, this is clearly a mistake. I bet nobody knows.
I got more for that. I'm going to play it. Oh, he's a great guy. It's a mistake. No, it's a crime. What advice would you give to Justin on how to handle that? And what do you think some who are saying it was just a mistake? What do you think about some who are saying it was a mistake and are excusing this away as a crime? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Ken in Arlington, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hey, Chris, that's probably true. He did have one drink, but he went around the party and drank everybody else's. So
yeah.
Technically, he had one martini, but he drank out of everybody else's drink, according to the reports.
Right. So what do you say then? What would you tell him? What advice would you give him?
Well, I mean, if I was his attorney, own it. I mean, just like the attorney for the Kansas City Chiefs guy should have said, you own it. You made a mistake. You were caught, and you have to make amends for whether it's the crash what happened on 635 or Justin Timberlake and his actions.
And last but not least, do you think it's a crime when you do a drunken driving?
Oh, yeah.
I do, too. Not a mistake. It's a crime. Coming up next, we'll play you that full audio of Gayle King. It's just a mistake. He's my friend. He's awesome. I love the guy. I'm humping his leg right now on national television, etc. So we'll talk about more of that coming up next. You'll hear about a local case that tells you why this is a crime.